Hi guys, I'm back. Today is the 27th of July 2021. Today I'm going to read Judges 5-9, Proverbs 27, and Psalm 60. Let's get started. On that day, Deborah and Barak sang a song. Barak was the son of Abinoam. Here's what Deborah and Barak sang. The princes in Israel lead the way. The people follow them just because they want to. When this happens, praise the Lord. Kings, hear this. Rulers, listen. I will sing to the Lord. I will praise the Lord in song. He is the God of Israel. The Lord, you went out from Seir. You marched out from the land of Edom. The earth shook. The heavens poured. The clouds poured down their water. The mountains shook because of the Lord. He was at Mount Sinai. They shook because of the Lord. He is the God of Israel. The main roads were deserted, so travelers used the winding paths. That happened in the days of Shamgar, the son of Anath. It happened in the days of Jael. Those who lived in the villages of Israel would not fight. They held back until I, Deborah, came. I came as a mother in Israel. But war came to the city gates. Then God chose new leaders. But no shields or spears were seen anywhere. There weren't any among 4,000 men in Israel. My heart is with the princes in Israel. It's with the people who follow them just because they want to. Praise the Lord. Some of you ride on white donkeys. Some of you sit on your saddle blankets. Some of you walk along the road. Think about the voices of the singers at the watering places. They sing about the victories of the Lord. They sing about the victories of his people who live in Israel's villages. The people of the Lord went down to the city gates. They wake up, Deborah. Wake up, they said. Wake up, begin to sing. Barak, get up, son of Abinoam, captive princes. The nobles who were left came down. The people of the Lord came down to me to fight against the powerful enemy. Some came from the part of Ephraim, where some Amalekites lived. Some from Benjamin were with the people who followed Ephraim. Captains came down from Machir. Those who ruled like commanders came down from Zebulun. The princes of Isaac were with Deborah. The men of Isaac were with Barak. They went into the valley under his command, in the territories of Reuben. The men looked deeply into their hearts. Why did they stay among the sheep pens? Why did they stay to hear shepherds whistling for the flocks? In the territories of Reuben, men looked deeply into their hearts. Gilead stayed east of the Jordan River. Why did Dan stay near the ships? The men of Asher remained on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. They stayed in their safe harbors. The people of Zebulun put their very lives in danger. So did Naphtali on the hillside fields. The kings came and fought. The kings of Canaan fought at Tanash by the streams of Megiddo. But they didn't carry away any silver. They didn't take anything at all. From the heavens the stars fell. From the sky they fought against Sisera. The Kishon River swept them away. The Kishon is a very old river. My spirit, march on, be strong. The hooves of the horses pounded like thunder. The powerful horses of our enemies galloped away. Let Meroz be cursed, said the angel of the Lord. Let bitter curses fall on his people. They did not come to help the Lord. They did not come to help him against our powerful enemies. May Jael be the most blessed woman of all. May the wife of Heber the Kenite be blessed. May she be the most blessed woman of all who live in tents. Sisera asked for water. She gave him milk. In a bowl fit for nobles, she brought him buttermilk. Her hand reached out for a tent stake. Her right hand reached out for a hammer. She hit Sisera. She crushed his head. She drove the stake right through his head. He sank down. He fell at her feet. He was lying there. At her feet, he sank down. He fell. He fell where he sank down. That's where he died. Sisera's mother looked out through the window. From behind the windscreen, she cried, "Why is his chariot taking so long to get here?" she said. "Why can't I hear the noise of his chariots yet?" His wisest ladies answered her. And here's what she keeps saying to herself. She says, "They must be finding riches to bring back. They must be dividing them up. Each man is getting a woman or two. They are giving colorful clothes to Sisera. Their clothes are very beautiful. He will bring some for me to wear. The men I will must be finding many things to bring her. Lord, may all your enemies be destroyed, but may all who love you be like the morning sun. May they be like the sun when it shines the brightest." So the land was at peace for 40 years. The Israelites did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. So for 7 years he handed them over to the people of Midian. The Midianites treated the Israelites very badly. That's why they made hiding places for themselves. They hid in holes in the mountains. They also hid in caves and in other safe places. Each year the people planted their crops. When they did, the Midianites came into the country and attacked it. So did the Amalekites and other tribes from the east. They camped on They camped on the land. They destroyed the crops all the way to Gaza. They didn't spare any living thing for Israel. They didn't spare sheep or cattle or donkeys. The Midianites came out with their livestock and tents. They came like huge numbers of locusts. It was impossible to count the men and their camels. They came into the land to destroy. The Midianites made the Israelites very poor, so they cried out to the Lord for help. They cried out to the Lord because of what the Midianites had done. So he sent a prophet to Israel. The prophet said, "The Lord is the God of Israel." He says, "I brought you up out of Egypt." He says, "That is the land where you were slaves. I saved you from the power of the Egyptians. I saved you from all those who were treating you badly. I drove out the Canaanites to make room for you. I gave you that land. I said to you, I am the Lord your God. You are now living in the land of the Amorites. Do not worship their gods, but you've not listened to me." The angel of the Lord came. He sat down under an oak tree in Ophrah. The tree belonged to Josh. He was from the family line of Abiezer. Gideon was threshing wheat in a winepress at Ophrah. He was the son of Josh. Gideon was threshing in a winepress to hide the wheat from the Midianites. The angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon. He said, "Mighty warrior, the Lord is with you." "Pardon me, sir," Gideon replied. You say that the Lord is with us. Then why has all this happened to us? Where are all the wonderful things he has done? Our people of long ago told us about them. They said, "Didn't the Lord bring us up out of Egypt? But now the Lord has deserted us. He has handed us over to Midian." The Lord turned to Gideon. He said to him, "You are strong. Go and save Israel from the power of Midian. I am sending you, sir." "Pardon me, sir," Gideon replied, "but how can I possibly save Israel? My family group is the weakest in the tribe of Manasseh, and I'm the least important member of my family." The Lord answered, "I will be with you, so you will strike down the Midianites. You will leave no one alive." Gideon replied, "If you are pleased with me, give me a special son. Then I'll know that it's really you talking to me. Please don't go away until I come back. I'll bring my offering and set it down in front of you." The Lord said, "I will wait until you return." Gideon went inside and prepared a young goat. From 36 pounds of flour he made bread without using yeast. He put the meat in a basket. In a pot he put soup made from the meat. Then he brought all of it and offered it to the Lord under the oak tree. The angel of the Lord said to Gideon, "Take the meat and the bread, place them on this rock, then pour out the soup." So Gideon did it. The angel of the Lord had a walking stick in his hand. With the tip of the stick he touched the meat and the bread. Fire blazed out of the rock. It burned up the meat and the bread. Then the angel of the Lord disappeared. Gideon realized it was the angel of the Lord. He cried out, "Oh no, my Lord and King, I've seen the angel of the Lord face to face." And the Lord said to him, "May peace be with you. Do not be afraid. You are not going to die." So Gideon built an altar there to honor the Lord. He called it "The Lord is Peace." It still stands in Ophrah to this day. Ophrah is the territory that belongs to the family line of Abiezer. That same night the Lord spoke to Gideon. He said, "Get the second bull from your father's herd. Get the one that is 7 years old. Tear down the altar your father built to honor the god named Baal. Cut down the pole beside it. The pole is used to worship the female god named Asherah. Then build the right kind of altar. Build it to honor the Lord your God. Build it on top of this hill. Then use the wood from the Asherah pole you cut down. Sacrifice the second bull as a burnt offering." So Gideon went and got 10 of his servants. He did just as the Lord had told him, but he was afraid of his family. He was also afraid of the people in his town. So he did everything at night instead of during the day. In the morning, the people in the town got up. They saw that Baal's altar had been torn down, the Asherah pole beside it had been cut down, and the second bull had been sacrificed on the new altar that had been built. They asked each other, "Who did this?" They looked into the matter carefully. Someone told them, "Gideon the son of Joash did." The people in the town spoke to Joash. They ordered him, "Bring your son out here. He must die. He has torn down Baal's altar. He has cut down the Asherah pole beside." But Joash replied to the angry crowd outside him. He said, "Are you going to stand up for Baal? Are you trying to save him? Those who stand up for him will be put to death by morning. Is Baal really a god? If he is, he can stand up for himself when someone tears down his altar." That's why they gave Gideon the name Jerubbaal on that day. Gideon had torn down Baal's altar, so they said, "Let Baal take a stand against it." All the Midianites and Amalekites gathered their armies together. Other tribes from the east joined them. All of them went across the Jordan River. They camped in the valley of Jezreel. Then the Spirit of the Lord came on Gideon. So Gideon blew a trumpet to send for the men of Abiezer. He told them to follow him. He sent messengers all through the Manasseh's territory. He called for men of Manasseh to fight. He also sent messengers to the men of Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali. So all those men went up to join the others. Gideon said to God, "You promised you would use me to save it. Please do something for me. I'll put a piece of wool on the threshing floor. Suppose dew is only on the wool tomorrow morning, and suppose the ground all around it is dry. Then I'll know that you'll use me to save Israel. And I'll know that your promises will come true." And that's what happened. Gideon got up early the next day. He squeezed the dew out of the bowl. The water filled a bowl. Then Gideon said to God, "Don't be angry with me. Let me ask you for just one more thing. Let me use the wool for one more test. But this time make the wool dry, and let the ground be covered with dew." So that night God did it. Only the wool was dry. The ground all around it was covered with dew. Early in the morning, Jerubbaal and all his men camped at the spring of Harod. Jerubbaal was another name for Gideon. The camp of Midian was north of Gideon's camp. It was in the valley near the hill of Moreh. The Lord said to Gideon, "I want to hand Midian over to you, but you have too many men for me to do that. Then Israel might break. My own strength has saved me. So here's what I want you to announce to the army. Tell them, those who tremble with fear can turn back, so they can leave Mount Gilead." So 22,000 men left, but 10,000 remained. The Lord said to Gideon, "There are still too many men, so take them down to the water. There I will reduce the number of them for you. If I say, 'This one will go with you,' he'll go. But if I say, 'That one will not go with you,' he will not go." So Gideon took the men down to the water. Then there the Lord said to him, "Some men will drink the way dogs do. They will lap up the water with their tongues. Separate them from those who get down on their knees to drink." 300 men brought up the water to their mouths with their hands, and they lapped it up the way dogs do. All the rest got down on their knees to drink. The Lord spoke to Gideon. He said, "With the help of the 300 men who lapped up the water, I'll save you. I'll hand the Midianites over to you. Let all the other men go home." So Gideon sent those the Israelites home. And he kept the 300 men. They took over the supplies and trumpets the others had left. The Midianites had set up their camp in the valley below where Gideon was. During that night, the Lord said to Gideon, "Get up, go down against the camp, and I am going to hand it over to you. But what if you are afraid to attack? Then go down to the camp with your servant Purah. Listen to what they are saying. After that, you will not be afraid to attack the camp." So Gideon and his servant Purah went down to the edge of the camp. The Midianites had set up their camp in the valley. So had the Amalekites and all the other tribes from the east. There were so many of them that they looked like huge numbers of locusts. Like the grains of sand on the seashore, their camels couldn't be counted. Gideon arrived just as a man was telling a friend about his dream. "I had a dream," he was saying. "A round loaf of barley bread came rolling into the camp of Midian. It hit a tent with great force. The tent turned over and fell down flat." His friend replied, "That can only be the sword of Gideon, the son of Joash. Gideon is from Israel. God has handed the Midianites over to him. He's given him the whole camp." Gideon heard the man explain what the dream meant. Then Gideon bowed down and worshipped. He returned to the camp of Israel. He called out, "Get up! The Lord has handed the Midianites over to you." So Gideon separated the 300 men into 3 fighting groups. He put a trumpet and an empty jar into the hands of each man, and he put a torch inside each jar. "Watch me," he told them. "Do what I do. I'll go to the edge of the enemy camp. Then do exactly as I do. I and everyone with me will blow our trumpets. Then blow your trumpets from your positions all around the camp, and shout for the battle cry, for the Lord and for Gideon." Gideon and the 100 men with him reached the edge of the enemy camp. It was about 10 o'clock at night. It was just after the guard had been changed. Gideon and his men blew their trumpets. They broke the jars that were in their hands. The 3 fighting groups blew their trumpets. They smashed their jars. They held their torches in their left hands. They held in their right hands the trumpets they were going to blow. Then they shouted the battle cry, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." Each man stayed in his position around them, but all the Midianites ran away in fear. When they were crying out as they ran. When the 300 trumpets were blown, the Lord caused all the men in the enemy camp to stop fighting one another. They attacked one another with their swords. The army ran away to Beth Shittah toward Zerah. They ran all the way to the border of Abel Meholah near Tabbath. Israelites from the tribes of Naphtali, Asher, and all of Manasseh were called in. They chased the Midianites. Gideon sent messengers through the entire hill country of Ephraim. They said, "Come on down against the Midianites." to control the waters of the Jun River before they get there. Do it all the way to Bethbar. So all the men of Ephraim were called out. They took control of the waters of the Jordan all the way to Bethbar. They soon captured Oreb and Zeb. Those men were two of the Midianite leaders. The men of Ephraim killed Oreb at the rock of Oreb. They killed Zeb at the winepress of Zeb. They chased the Midianites, and they brought the heads of Oreb and Zeb to Gideon. He was by the Jordan River. The men of Ephraim asked Gideon, "Why have you treated us like this? Why didn't you ask us to help you when you went out to fight against Midian?" In anger they challenged Gideon. Yet he answered them, "What I've done isn't anything compared to what you have done. Ephraim's grapes have been gathered. Isn't what is left over better than all the grapes that have been gathered from Abiz's vines? God handed Oreb and Zeb over to you. They were Midianite leaders. So what was I able to do compared to what you did?" After Gideon had said that, they didn't feel angry with him anymore. Gideon and his 300 men were very kind, but they kept on chasing their enemies. They came to the Jordan River and went across it. Gideon said to the men of Succoth, "Give my troops some bread. They are winter, and I'm still chasing Zeba and Zalmunna. They are the kings of Midian." But the officials of Succoth objected. They said, "Have you already killed Zeba and Zalmunna? Have you cut their hands off and brought them back to prove it? If you haven't, why should we give bread to the troops?" Gideon replied, "The Lord will hand Zeba and Zalmunna over. When he does, I'll take a skin with thorns from desert bushes." From there Gideon went up to Peniel. He asked its men for the same thing, but they answered as the men of Succoth had. So he said to the men of Peniel, "I'll be back after I've won the battle. Then I'll tear down this town." Zeba and Zalmunna were in Karkor. They had an army of about 15,000 men. That's all that was left of the armies of the tribes from the east. About 120,000 men who carried swords had died in battle. Gideon went up the trail the people of the desert had made. It ran east of Nobah and Jogbeha. He attacked the army by surprise. Zeba and Zalmunna ran away. They were the two kings of Midian. Gideon chased them and captured them. He destroyed their whole army. Then Gideon, the son of Joash, returned from the battle. He came back through the pass of Heres. He caught a young man from Succoth. He asked him about the elders of the town. The young man wrote down for him the names of Succoth's 77 officials. Then Gideon came and said to the men of Succoth, "Here are Zeba and Zalmunna. You made fun of me because of them." He said, "Have you already killed Zeba and Zalmunna? Have you cut their hands off and brought them back to prove it? If you haven't, why should we give bread to your tired men?" Gideon went and got the elders of the town. Then he showed the men of Succoth their lesson. He tore their skin with their thorns from the desert bushes. He also pulled down the tower at Peniel. He killed the men in the town. And then he spoke to Zeba and Zalmunna. He said, "What were the men like that you killed at Tabor?" "Men like you," they answered. Each one walked as if he were a prince. Gideon replied, "Those were my brothers. They were the sons of my own mother. You can be sure that the Lord lives, and you can be sure that if you had spared their lives, I would kill you." Then Gideon turned to his oldest son, Jether. He said, "Kill them." But Jether didn't pull out his sword. He was only a boy. He was afraid. Zeba and Zalmunna said, "Come on, do it yourself. The older the man, the stronger he is." Then Gideon stepped forward and killed them. Then he took the gold chains off the necks of their camels. The Israelites said to Gideon, "Rule over us. We want you, your son, and your grandson to be our rulers. You have saved us from the power of Midian." But Gideon told them, "I will not rule over you. My son won't rule over you either. The Lord will rule over you." He continued, "I do ask one thing. I want each of you to give me an earring. I'm talking about the earrings you took from your enemies. It was the practice of the people in the family line of Ishmael to wear gold earrings. The Israelites said, 'Will be glad to give them to you.' So they'll spread out a piece of clothing. Each of them threw a ring on the earth from what he took. The weight of the gold rings Gideon asked for was 43 pounds. That didn't include the moon-shaped necklaces the kings of Midian had worn. It didn't include their other necklaces or their purple clothes, and it didn't include the gold chains that had been on the necks of their camels. Gideon made an object out of all the gold. It looked like the linen apron the high priest of Israel wore. Gideon placed it in Ophrah. That was his hometown. All the Israelites worshipped it there. They weren't faithful to the Lord, so the gold object became a trap to Gideon and his family. Israel brought Midian under their control. Midian wasn't able to attack Israel anymore, so the land was at peace. for 40 years. The peace lasted as long as Gideon was living. Jerubbaal, the son of Joash, went back home to live. Jerubbaal was another name for Gideon. He had 70 sons of his own. That's because he had many wives. He also had a concubine who lived in Shechem. She also had a son by him. Gideon named that son Abimelech. Gideon, the son of Joash, died when he was very young. He was buried in the tomb of his father Joash in Ophrah. Ophrah was in the territory that belonged to the family line of Abiezer. As soon as Gideon had died, the Israelites began serving and worshipping gods that were named Baal. Israel wasn't faithful to the Lord. They worshipped Baal-berith as their god. They forgot what the Lord their God had done for them. He had saved them from the power of their enemies all around. Jerubbaal had done many good things for the Israelites, but they weren't faithful to his family. Jerubbaal was another name for Gideon. Abimelech was the son of Jerubbaal. He went to his mother's brothers in Shechem. He spoke to them and to all the members of his mother's family. He said, "Speak to all the citizens of Shechem. Tell them, you can have all 70 of Jerubbaal's sons rule over you, or you can have just one man rule over you. Which would you rather have? Remember, I'm your own flesh and blood." The brothers told all of that to the citizens of Shechem. Then the people decided to follow Abimelech. They said, "He's related to us." They gave him 28 ounces of silver. They had taken it from the temple of the god named Baal-berith. Abimelech used it to hire some men. They were wild and weren't good for anything. They became his followers. Abimelech went to his father's home in Ophrah. There on a big rock he murdered his 70 brothers. All of them were the sons of Jerubbaal. But Jotham escaped by hiding. He was Jerubbaal's youngest son. All the citizens of Shechem and Beth Millah came together. They gathered at the stone pillar that was beside the large tree in Shechem. They wanted to crown Abimelech as their king. Jotham was told about it, so he climbed up on top of Mount Gerizim. He shouted down to them, "Citizens of Shechem, listen to me. Then God will listen to you." One day the trees went out to anoint a king for themselves. They said to an old tree, "Be our king." But the old tree answered, "Should I give up my old oil? It's used to honor gods and people alike. Should I give that up just to rule over the trees?" The next the tree said to a fig tree, "Come and be our king." But the fig tree replied, "Should I give up my fruit? It's so good and sweet. Should I give that up just to rule over the trees?" Then the tree said to a vine, "Come and be our king." But the vine answered, "Should I give up my wine? It cheers up gods and people alike. Should I give that up just to rule over the trees?" Finally all the trees spoke to a bush that had thorns. They said, "Come and be our king." The bush asked the trees, "Do you really want to anoint me as king over you? If you do, come and rest in my shade. But if you won't, I'll destroy you. Fire will come out of me and burn up the said trees of Lebanon." Did you act in an honest way when you made Abimelech your king? Did you really do the right thing? Have you been fair to Jerubbaal and his family? Have you given him the honor he's worthy of? Remember that my father fought for you. He put his life in danger for you. He saved you from the power of Midian. But today you have turned against my father's family. You have murdered his 70 sons on a big rock. Abimelech is only the son of my father's female slave. But you have made him king of the citizens of Shechem. You've done that because he is related to you. Have you, citizens of Shechem and Beth Millah, acted in an honest way toward Jerubbaal? Have you done the right thing to his family today? If you have, may you be happy with Abimelech, and may he be happy with you. But if you haven't, let fire come out of it from Abimelech and burn you up, and let fire come out from you and burn Abimelech up. Then Jotham ran away. He escaped to a town named Beer. He lived there because he was afraid of his brother Abimelech. Abimelech ruled over Israel for 3 years. Then God stirred up trouble between Abimelech and the citizens of Shechem. So they turned against Abimelech. They decided not to follow him anymore. God made that happen because of what Abimelech had done to Jerubbaal's 70 sons. He spilled their blood. God wanted to punish their brother Abimelech for doing that. He also wanted to punish the citizens of Shechem. They had helped Abimelech murder his brothers. The citizens of Shechem didn't want Abimelech to be their ruler anymore, so they hid some men on top of the hills. They wanted them to attack and rob everyone who passed by. Abimelech was told about it. Gal and his relatives moved into Shechem. Gal was the son of Ebed. The citizens of Shechem put their trust in Gal. The people of Shechem went out into the fields. They gathered the grapes. They pressed the juice out of them by stomping on them. Then they held a feast in the temple of their god. While they were eating and drinking, they cursed Abimelech. Then Gal, the son of Ebed, said, "Who is Abimelech? And who is Shechem? Why should we citizens of Shechem be under Abimelech's rule? Isn't he Jerubbaal's son? Isn't Zebul his helper? It would be better to serve the family of Hamor. He was the father of Shechem. So why should we serve Abimelech? I wish these people were under my command. Then I would get rid of Abimelech. I would say to him, call out your whole army." Zebul was the governor of Shechem. He heard about what Gal, the son of Ebed, had said. So he was very angry. Zebul secretly sent messengers to Abimelech. They said, "Gal, the son of Ebed, has come to Shechem. His relatives have come with him. They are stirring up the city against you. So come with your men during the night. Hide in the fields and wait. In the morning at sunrise, attack the city. Gal and his men will come out against you. Then take that opportunity to attack them." So Abimelech and all the troops started out at night. They went into their hiding places near Shechem. Abimelech had separated them into 4 fighting groups. Gal, the son of Ebed, had already gone out. He was standing at the entrance of the city gate. He had arrived there just as Abimelech and his troops came out of their hiding place. Gal saw him. He said to Zebul, "Look, people are coming down from the tops of the mountains." Zebul replied, "You are wrong. Those aren't people. They are just the shadows of the mountains." Gal spoke up again. He said, "Look, people are coming down from the central hill. Another group is coming from the direction of the fortune-teller's tree." Then Zebul said to Gal, "Where's your big talk now?" He said, "Who is Abimelech? Why should we be under his rule? Aren't these the people you made fun of?" Go and fight against them. So Gal led the citizens out of Shechem. They fought against Abimelech. He chased Gal from the field of battle. Abimelech chased them all the way to the entrance of the city gate. Many men were killed as they ran away. Abimelech stayed in Arumah, and Zebul drove Gal and his relatives out of Shechem. The next day the people of Shechem went out to work in the fields. Abimelech was told about it, so he gathered his men together. He separated them into 3 fighting groups. Then he hid them in the fields and told them to wait. When he saw the people coming out of the city, he got up to attack them. Abimelech and the men with him ran forward. They placed themselves at the entrance of the city gate. Then the other 2 groups attacked the people in the fields. There they struck them down. Abimelech kept up his attack against the city all day long. He didn't stop until he had captured it. Then he killed its people. He destroyed the city. He scattered salt on it to make sure nothing would be able to grow there. The citizens in the town of Shechem heard about what was happening, so they went to the safest place in the temple of the god named El-Berith. Abimelech heard that they had gathered together there. He and all his men went up Mount Salmon. He got an axe and cut off some branches. He carried them on his shoulders. He ordered the men with him to do the same thing. "Quick," he said, do what you have seen me do." So all the men cut branches and followed Abimelech. They piled them against the place where the people had gone for safety. They set the place on fire with the people still inside. There were about 1,000 men and women in the tower of Shechem. All of them died. Next, Abimelech went to Thebez. He surrounded it. Then he attacked it and captured it. But inside the city there was a strong town. All the people in the city had run to it for safety. All the men and women had gone into it. They had locked themselves in it. They climbed up on the roof of the tower. Abimelech went to the tower and attacked it. He approached the entrance to the tower to set it on fire, but a woman dropped a large millstone on him. It broke his head open. He quickly called out to the man carrying his armor. He said, "Pull out your sword and kill me." And people can't say, "I won't kill him." So his servant stuck his sword through him, and Abimelech died. When the Israelites saw he was dead, they went home. That's how God punished Abimelech for the evil thing he had done to his father. He had murdered his 70 brothers. God also made the people of Shechem pay for all the evil things they had done. The curse of Jotham came down on them. He was the son of Jerubbaal. Proverbs 27. Don't brag about tomorrow. You don't know what a day will bring. Let another person praise you, and not your own mouth. Let an outsider praise you, and not your own lips. Stones are heavy, and sound weighs a lot, but letting a foolish person make you angry is a heavier load than both of them. Anger is mean, and great anger overpowers you. But who can face jealousy? Being warned openly is better than being loved in secret. Wounds from a friend can be trusted. When an enemy kisses you many times. When you're full, you even hate honey. When you're hungry, even when it's bitter tasty, and you only runs away from is like a bird that flies away from its nest. Perfume and incense bring joy to your heart. and the sweetness of a friend comes from their honest advice. Don't desert your friend or a friend of your family. Don't go to your relative's house when trouble strikes you. A neighbor nearby is better than a relative far away. My son, be wise and bring joy to my heart. Then I can answer anyone who makes fun of me. Most people see danger and go to a safe place, but childish people keep on going and suffer for it. Take the coat of one who puts on money for to strangers. Hold it until you get paid back if it is done for an outsider. Suppose you loudly bless your neighbor early in the morning, then you might as well be cursing him. The nagging wife is like the dripping of a leaky roof in the names, right? So stopping it is like trying to stop the wind. It's like trying to grab olive oil with your hand. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. A person who guards victory will eat his food, and a person who protects their master will be honored. When you look into water, you see a likeness of a face. When you look into your heart, you see what you are really like. Death and the grave are never satisfied. Equal eyes are never satisfied either. Fight is silver, and he tests gold, but people are tested by the praise they receive. Suppose you could grind a foolish person in a mill. Suppose you could grind them as you would grind grain with a tool. Even then you cannot remove their foolishness from them. Be sure you know how your flocks are doing. Pay careful attention to your herds. Riches don't last forever, and a crown is not secure for all time to come. The hay is removed, and new growth appears. The grass from the hills is gathered in. Then your land will provide you with clothes, and the money from selling your goats will buy you a field. You will have plenty of goat's milk to feed your family. You will to feed your female servants. Psalm 60. God, you have turned away from us. You have attacked us. You have been angry. Now turn back to us. You have shaken the land and torn it open. Face it crashed because it is falling apart. You have shown your people hard times. You have made us drink the wine of your anger. Now we can't even walk straight. But you lead into battle those who have respect for you. You give them a flag to wave against the enemy's weapons. Save us and help us by your power. Do this so that those you love may be saved. God has spoken from his temple. He said, I will win the battle. Then I will divide up the land around Shechem. I will divide up the valley of Succoth. Gilead belongs to me. So does the land of Manasseh. Ephraim is the strongest tribe. It is like a helmet for my head. Judah is the royal tribe. It is like a ruler's scepter. Moab serves me like one who washes my feet. I toss my sandal on Edom to show that I own it. I shout to Philistia that I have won the battle. Who will bring me to the city that had high walls around it? Who will lead me to the land of Edom? God, isn't it you, even though you have now turned away from us? Isn't it you, even though you don't lead our armies into battle anymore? Help us against our enemies. The help people give doesn't amount to anything. With your help we win the battle. You will walk all over our enemies. Now that's done, I shall now do the Lord's Prayer. Please bow your heads. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as you wish to forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.